This cup, this is you. Now, this is you when life happens. When there's an unexpected financial crisis in your life, this is you. When sickness is causing pain and suffering in your body, this is you. When you're grieving because somebody close to you dies, this is you. Crushed, beat up, broken, weakened. Most people don't tell you this, but when you're like this, it's hard to pray. When you're like this, because you just got the worst news of your life, your mouth is open, but you can't even find the words to say. I know this goes without saying, but has anybody ever been in a situation where it was just so beyond you that you couldn't even pray? I mean, have you ever been through something that at that moment it just left you speechless? I'm coming to realize as I navigate my way through the complexities of this life, while having faith in the Lord, I begin to realize that for those who find their hope in the Lord, the cry that the Lord hears the most is sometimes the cry that you can't even get out. Don't let anybody make you feel like you have to be at the altar shouting real loud to God for him to hear you. Sometimes your situation is so pressing that you can't even make it to the altar. And if this is you right now, if you are depressed or downcast, so much so that words can't even come out of your mouth, if you are yet trusting in the Lord, just rest assured that the Lord can still hear your soul crying out to him. Even though David was going through one of the worst trials in his life, he said, "My soul makes its boast in the Lord." Like David, have you ever been so speechless and baffled by life that you couldn't talk, but inside your soul was still crying out to the Lord? One of those moments where you have tears in your eyes, but inwardly you know it's gonna be all right because your soul is trusting in the Lord, even though you just got crushed by some kind of traumatic event. And them trials that leave you speechless, that pain ain't going away overnight. That's that pain that you have to sit with for a while. With those kind of trials, you have to wait patiently for healing. David said, "I waited patiently for the Lord. He inclined to me and heard my cry. He drew me up from the pit of destruction." And see, by this time, when disaster strikes, that's when you start freaking out and become overwhelmed with all types of worries. And you could easily start thinking, if I don't make my request known to the Lord, how is he going to answer my prayer? How can he hear me if I don't have words? You know how I know he can still hear you? Because he's near to the brokenhearted. And if somebody is near you, they can hear what you're saying. You want to know how I know that he will still answer you? Because he fulfills the desire of those who fear him. You want to know how I know that he will still answer you? Simple, because he says, before they call, I will answer. While they are yet speaking, I will hear. If you are going through that kind of hurt and pain, you don't even have to get the words out good. God is already tending to those who trust in him. He is already starting to work it out. And it's not going to feel like it right then, but we have to trust in what the scripture says. And on top of that, the word says that the Spirit helps us in our weakness. For we don't even know what we should pray as we ought to. But the Spirit himself intercedes for us with groanings that are too deep for words. Listen, when you can't even intercede for yourself, When you are so broken that you can't even muster up the energy, when you are so beat down and depressed that it's almost like you can't even get out of bed, for those who trust in his holy name, the Spirit of God himself will intercede for you. Listen, I don't know about you, but sometimes with how life goes and how certain things come about, I need God to speak for me sometimes. Because sometimes you just not gonna have it in you. But listen, y'all, there is a good thing about when you are crushed like this. When you are crushed like this, it is easier for the Lord to draw you closer to himself. For the sacrifices of the Lord are a broken spirit and a contrite heart. Beloved, don't get weary. When you can't even cry out, he still hears you.